Okay, welcome back to part 3 of the Youth-Led Fact-Fed Annual Conference. In this segment, we're going to be discussing the A and the C of our REACH theme. But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about social media. And so we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I run our Project Prevent social media, which we'll discuss a little bit more in depth further into this presentation. But I just wanted to share some insight about social media and some tips and tricks. And this social media actually plays a big part with the tobacco industry. So I just want to share some facts about that with you and maybe some information you did or did not know. So first, we're going to start with the bad. And you can see on the screen, these are some Juul ads that are old now, but a while back before, Juul has since banned, there's a law out that has banned Juul, the little pod flavors. But before that, Juul really targeted youth and teens. And you can see by these ads on the screen, they're super colorful, super fun. They have young people. There's one girl in the middle picture. She has a big long ponytail. A lot of people said that was kind of trying to look like Ariana Grande. So obviously these kids look like they're having a lot of fun. And Juul originally shared these on social media. There were these influencers out there that were sharing these ads, and they tried to act like they were not targeting teens and youth, but clearly you can make your own assumptions about these. They look pretty fun ads and like they are trying to target people your age. So like I just mentioned, the influencers, this is another place where the tobacco industry really uses the power of social media for not such good things. They get these people like you see featured in these ads, maybe some well-known social celebrities and things, these social influencers, and they pay them and get them to market these products and share these products and show them on their social media pages. And so then youth like you might see these ads and these pictures on your pages and think that, oh, well, it's not that dangerous. This is okay because these people are doing it that I know. But that's just one of the myths of social media, is that the tobacco industry can really use it for not such great things like that. Also, let's talk about the ugly side. So another thing that you might see on social media sometimes that is not a great influence is these vape trends and tricks. And so you can see on this slide here, there's some videos out there of youth and teens who are sharing these vape tricks on social media. You can see this one guy, he's making like rings with his vapes and things, and this other girl has some rainbow coloring in hers. So these kids get on these trends, and you can use a hashtag on social media and share. People are sharing these videos of them doing what they think are cool things with vapes. And so this is another way that the tobacco industry uses social media to target you guys in really ugly ways. They're using, once again, these influencers and these young kids to get them on these trends, and then that's more things that you see on your feed, and it's really can be a bad influence, and maybe you don't realize it as you see it on social media if you're just scrolling and you just kind of scroll past it. But the more you might just scroll past these things and see them, it kind of gets hung up in your head, and it's something that can sometimes draw people in, and you might be like, oh, well, maybe this is something I should try. So once again, the ugly side of how social media can be used. Another thing to kind of know about social media is that you can't always believe everything you see out there. So social media, as we know, is a great way to connect with people and to share information and to stay in contact with people that we know, to meet new people, but it can also be a place to share information that is not true. And so you just have to really be cautious of that, especially with things that are shared about vaping or about smoking and nicotine and things like that. You have to always be sure to check your sources and where this information is coming from, because it's really easy to get lies and untruthful information off of social media. So let's talk more about the good side of social media. We've kind of talked about the bad and how it can be used in not such great ways, but social media can be used for good. And so you can see here on the screen, there's 4 different screenshots of some profiles. And so one of them is our own Project Prevent profile. And we use social media in a good way. It's a great way for us to stay connected with the youth and stay connected with you guys. If you're one of our chapters watching, or if you're a student that's involved in Project Prevent, it's a really great way that we can stay connected with you all and share information and project ideas and things like that. Some more of the pictures on the screen. We have the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, Next Generation Free, which is the Mississippi Youth Tobacco Prevention campaign, and then Truth Orange, which the Truth Online Initiative, we've shared some things on our Project Prevent social media pages from them. So all of these that are on the screen now are really great resources and great information, and these are people who are using social media for good. And they're sharing great information with students, and they're pushing out information and just really trying to inform people who are on these apps. And as most of you guys probably know, a lot of the youth, social media is youth, it's young people. And I'm sure if you think about it, you probably, almost everybody that you know uses some type of social media. So these companies, whether it's for good things or for bad things, social media is a really great way to reach people, and especially to reach youth. So that's why we wanted to cover the good, the bad, and the ugly, just so you can kind of be aware about how social media works, how these people are using it, and then relating that back to the tobacco industry and vaping and things like that, where you get your information, just so you'll know where to take in your information, whether you are looking at these reliable resources that are sharing good things, or maybe it's some of these trends or influencers who are sharing information about vaping and they're making it seem like it's cool and trendy, but really it's not. It's just one of these trends, and maybe they're getting paid from an ad by the tobacco industry, and so it's probably not the most reliable information. Let's see. So I wanted to also share some tips and tricks with you just about social media. And so if I mentioned it a few times already, but if you don't already follow us, we have an Instagram page and a Facebook page for Project Prevent. And you can find us, our username is listed here on the screen, at Project Prevent AR. And so like I said, we share information on there. We connect you with other resources and other pages that you should follow to get some great information. And so if you're interested in, maybe you're a chapter and you want to start your own social media page for your chapter, or maybe you're just a student and you want to start an informational page, Instagram or Facebook page, just to share information to your community and to students and your peers there. And maybe you can even use these tips and tricks just on your own personal social media. But these are just some things that I think could be helpful and that I use sometimes when thinking about social media. And so one of them is to use a schedule. If you're wanting to start your own social media page to share information like this, it really helps to ease the stress if you have a schedule. And so on the screen over here, you can see on this little iPad a schedule that we use here with Project Prevent. And if you already follow us, you probably have seen some of these things before. But you can see, for example, each day of the week, we just kind of have a theme that we follow. So each week going into it, as we post, we know what we're going to post about, what the topic is going to be, and it just really helps to kind of come up with ideas and content, knowing that we kind of already have a schedule planned out as to what we're going to talk about. Another tip is to post consistently, but don't overdo it. So again, we share on our social media pages about almost at least some kind of activity every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And so that might not necessarily be an actual post on our feed. We might use the story feature or share a follow about another page that you should check out, but we're still keeping the page active and making sure that there's stuff going on our page. So if you visit Project Prevent AR, there will be something there for you to look at. But again, you don't have to stress yourself out about it. You don't have to post every single day, because again, you don't want to overdo it. You just want to keep the page active. Another thing is to keep the page fresh with new information and kind of keep up. Again, if you choose to start a social media page for your community where you want to share information about vaping and tobacco and nicotine, keep up with what's going on in the news and make sure you're sharing factual information, and just keep your page fresh with what's really going on around the topic. Another thing I mentioned just a minute ago is to utilize the story features. And so again, if you don't want to post on social media every single day, the story feature is a super cool way to kind of be interactive with it. And so you can go back to this schedule on the screen. One of them says Trivia Tuesday. And hopefully if you follow us, several of you know and have played this. But on Tuesdays, we, over on Project Prevent AR, we host Trivia Tuesday on our story, which is where we use the little buttons on Instagram, and students can log on, students, teachers, anybody can log on and vote, and we'll have little tobacco and nicotine trivia questions. And then at the end of that, you could potentially win a prize. But that's just a little tip that you can get people to interact with your page. It's fun, and it's something kind of new and a cool way to share great information again. And then lastly, keep up with the trends. And one thing that we really try to do that is easy to keep up with trends is memes. And again, we do the Monday meme, as you can see on our little calendar over here. And if there's a trend out there, you guys probably know better than me, but they're probably different. There's always like a different meme trend or whatever. And at one point there was like a trend, I think, about the different like social pages, and there was a picture for your Tinder profile and a picture for Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, I think, and things. And so you can actually go to our page and see the one we did, but we just did a funny little graphic to go with that trend and kind of relate it to tobacco and nicotine content, but also making it something that was interesting and like keeping up with the trend of what was happening at that time. So these, again, are just some tips and tricks for if you are hoping to start a social media page or wanting a way to share information with people and students and peers in your communities. So now that's all I have to say about social media. And now we are going to talk a little bit about Ready, Set, Record, which is another way that you can get involved, and another way you can use social media. Because if you follow us, we will be sharing a lot of information about Ready, Set, Record on our page. And so I won't talk too much about it. We're going to share a little video, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it after.
Did you spend most of your summer making videos or trying to increase your YouTube clout? Well, why not use some of those creative skills for a great cause? And you can win money. That's right, it's time once again for the Project Prevent Youth Coalition's Ready, Set, Record. Arkansas students in grades 7th through 12th can create a 30-second video addressing the harmful effects of tobacco and nicotine. Here's the deal. Lots of kids still don't understand how dangerous tobacco and nicotine can be. Ready, Set, Record videos provide education and awareness to prevent young people from becoming addicted to things like smoking or vaping. The videos can also help people find ways to quit if they're already struggling with a nicotine addiction, and show others how living tobacco and nicotine free can help them reach their goals, like becoming a famous singer or athlete, or getting your high school diploma, or even earning a college degree. And did I mention you can win money? So whether you're an actor, animator, producer, or editor, we need your talent to help spread the message. Tobacco and nicotine are harmful. To enter your Ready, Set, Record video, follow these simple steps. Create, film, and edit a 30-second video and upload it to YouTube. Make sure that it's public, then register your team to the Project Prevent website. That's it. The deadline to submit your 30-second video is January 8th of 2021, so get started now. You can have up to 6 people on your team, and you can all win money. To learn more, go to projectpreventar.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Project Prevent AR.
Okay, so we love that video. We think it's super fun. And just to recap, Ready, Set, Record is the film festival that we host, film contest, film project that we host each year. And you can find more information about it on our website, projectpreventar.org. There will be a poster on there, links, everything you need to know about how to submit, if you want to get involved, the rules, the prizes, everything. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check that out. So now we are going to continue on with our vape-free field trip videos and talk a little bit more about social media.
I started to notice it more at school, and then I started to notice it more online as well, such as YouTube, where big influencers have been showing vapes, not necessarily trying to really show it off, but more of trying to be sneaky with it. They could be talking and you can see it in their hand, and I started to notice that a lot. All these e-cigarette companies were spreading their advertisement to others. I felt used because I had fallen for it, and I'm scared that other kids are going to fall for it as well. I also see it a lot on Snapchat when people post on their private stories about selling them, vaping in school bathrooms, and also kids are vaping in classrooms because they're trying to be funny when really they're making others uncomfortable.
What's the real story about all the vaping we see online? Are influencers getting big bucks to vape on their channels? Are we being duped into thinking vaping is cool by big business? Marketing expert Logan Nelson has the answers.
Hello everyone, my name is Logan Nelson. I'm a marketing specialist with Truth. You may be wondering, who is Truth? I'm definitely here to tell you. Truth is a nationally recognized youth prevention campaign specifically for tobacco and vaping. We're here to help arm you with the facts so that you can make the best choices for yourself, as well as expose Big Tobacco's lies and their manipulative tactics that they've done for decades. So what is advertising? Advertising is a big way for organizations to be able to sell their product to people just like you and me. The way that they do this is they really want to be able to relate to who the buyer is. They want you to feel like you are the person in the actual ad. The tricky thing about it is, while there are great organizations out there who have great products that they're selling or a great message behind it, some people are not all out for the greater good. Companies like Big Tobacco have been doing this for decades. They have a ton of marketing campaigns that they've put out specifically to target young people. But what's crazy is actually in the 1990s, regulations came around saying that Big Tobacco could no longer target young people with ads specifically around cigarettes. Great news, I know. But we have newer things and products that have come out now that actually do not have the same strict regulations. Things like Juul, e-cigarette products, which are a ton of different brands, they have more leeway now to actually target people just like you and just like me. And they do it in a ton of different ways. Since the beginning of Juul's inception, they've relied heavily on social media marketing. For their launch alone in 2015, they spent over $1 million to market their product. $1 million. Do you wish you had that in your bank account? Because I do. That's insane. But what's even crazier is that it was working. It actually deemed them one of the most popular e-cigarette brands to ever hit the market. So now we have various e-cigarette brands that are out on the market, and they actually don't face hard restrictions and limitations compared to other tobacco products. Now, the thing that this allows is for these big vape companies to target young people just like you and me. But how do they do it? They show up in spaces that young people love the most. Yes, this means social media, through our favorite influencers that we love and can really relate to and that we aspire to be one day, through on-the-ground events that we may love, whether it's a festival or just a cool event that's being held at your school. I know that's crazy too. But they show up in the places where they know young people are going to be drawn to and that they know that they're going to stick around and continuously come back. Have you ever been scrolling on your Instagram feed? You're scrolling, looking at pictures that your friends had posted or just fun things that's going on in the world, and you randomly come across a post. It looks very authentic to the things that you normally follow. You wouldn't really think twice about it because it looks like somebody you could know, but in actuality, you don't know who this person is, you've never followed this account, and you realize that it's a sponsored ad that's been populated into your feed. Vape companies are very, very, very good at this tactic. They understand where young people are, and they're here to target you through places like social media that you would think are more private for yourselves, but in actuality, they're not that private. This goes beyond vape companies actually posting pictures of young people using their products on their social media channels. What they lean into a lot more is this peer-to-peer interaction. That includes you direct messaging your friend on social media about the new product that you've been using, sending videos on TikTok or on other social media channels, putting it on your feed. You're actually doing all of the legwork for these vape companies when they're not spending a dime, and you're getting nothing in return. The bottom line is, e-cigarette companies are targeting young people. We want to make sure that you're armed with the facts so that you can call out the BS and be able to understand their manipulative tactics when you see them. You have a voice. You have a ton of power. Be able to tell your friends and the people around you so that they know the same too. You want to know the truth, you want to exercise the truth, and we know that you can do it.
Okay, some great information in that video. Again, more about social media. Hopefully you guys have learned something from this segment. Again, social media is nothing to be scared of. It is a really great way to share information and to connect with you guys, just as long as you know, are aware of where you're getting your information. So we are now going to continue on with the A and the C of our REACH theme, and we're going to hear from Laura as she comes and talks a little bit more about those.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. That was great information. We are continuing now with part 3 of the Youth-Led Fact-Fed Annual Conference that Project Prevent hosts every year. We're so thankful to be able to still connect with you guys, even though we're not able to meet in person. But a couple of things that we want to mention: if you are following along in your REACH guidebook, remember that it is also available as a digital copy on our website, so that's available too. But we are covering the letter A, and then we'll move on to the letter C in this segment as well. So the A is for action steps, and we really just kind of ask ourselves, what's your reach as a student? How can you reach out to people in your community or in your school, or even in your own family? And we look at kind of just some action steps that I want to share with you, projects that have been completed by our chapter members in the past. I could spend a lot of time talking about this, but I think that the pictures really tell a great story. Just from this first slide, you can see Project Prevent, a healthy lung and an unhealthy lung, was an FCCLA project that Nashville High School did a couple of years back. Our friends in Charleston were able to put up a huge billboard for Be Well Arkansas, which you'll learn more about Be Well here in a little while when we talk about quitting. And Charleston also just did a banner in their parade. We've had several chapters that make floats for Christmas parades with great tobacco messaging, messaging about how to quit or how to not ever even get started. So just those signs and those banners are really impactful in your community. We have Lisa Academy that's just cleaning up their school campus. You can see them picking up trash there at the top. And we've had lots of schools. I know Bruno Payette, several schools that have done cleanups around their campus or around maybe City Hall. Harrison has done that before. And the focus of that project is to not only pick up the trash, but to collect the cigarette butts that are littered all over your school campus or your city park, or like I said, your city businesses and buildings, to show that tobacco is the #1 most littered item in the world. And passing policies that are smoke-free campuses and smoke-free grounds can kind of help eliminate some of that litter and also motivate people to stop smoking. I love the picture at the bottom with our friend from Valley View in his cigarette costume. We have several chapters that have some costumes like this, and of course the cigarette person is always the villain in whatever skit that they're performing. And at the top, I believe this is Arkansas High School in Texarkana, where they're hosting a booth where they're just talking to little, younger children about not ever starting smoking, vaping, or dipping.
our friends from Hot Springs at the top winning an award for their work with Ready, Set, Record, and some videos and things that they've done through Project Prevent. And then, oh goodness, I believe it's Ouachita down here at the bottom with their signs from the bathroom, which I think these are just so funny. These signs are from the real cost, but they were able to put some of these signs in their bathrooms because, as you guys know, that's often the place where kids will go to hide out and try to vape. So what a better place to spread messaging than in your school bathrooms. I just have a few more. We do provide some tobacco prevention storybooks that are great to read to elementary students. We have one called No Thanks, But I'd Love to Dance that's great for kindergarten through 2nd grade. And then we have one called Smoking Stinks that's really good for like 2nd, 3rd, and maybe even 4th grade. And it's really impactful when these stories are read not necessarily by the teacher or an adult working in prevention, but when they're read by junior high and high school students like you guys. So Mount Vernon Evola is reading here at the top. Goodness, oh, that's our Extreme Youth Friends from El Dorado, where they also had set up a booth and they had their storybooks. Kirby down here at the bottom is doing a program or doing an activity with younger students as well. It's called the Organ Wise Guys, if you're familiar with that. There's a lesson for every organ of the body, and the lungs lesson covers smoking, so it's really great. Let's see. These are my Ashdown friends at the bottom in the center, looking great in their shirts. And they just are in charge of fixing their bulletin board in the hallway every month. And so they update it with information and great graphics about tobacco use. At the top, I love Don't Vape, Just Vibe. That's our friends at Brandon House here in Little Rock. That's an after-school arts program. They are incredible, and they usually have performed at our live conference several times. They do they sing, they dance, they step. They're just incredibly talented students. I believe this is our Ouachita friends again here, where they're putting their Welcome to Our Tobacco-Free School yard signs out. So we had provided those in the past. So all schools in Arkansas, all public schools, are by law tobacco-free schools, and these products are not allowed on your school campus. But oftentimes that law is not always followed. So it's been really helpful for our students to raise awareness by posting signs like this in places where people may be, using these products, whether that's in the parking lot at a football game or in your car rider line and things like that. And then I believe this is also a Mount Vernon Enola student. I think that's right at the bottom. They were, I believe, also doing a trash pickup, but she's showing off her silicone bracelet that they had designed. So that is just a couple of slides of a lot of great activities that our students have done, and they're really taking action, and that's what this is all about. I want to just show you some of the books that I'd mentioned, and we have some friends at UCA, the University of Central Arkansas, that have written their own book. It's called The Adventures of the Health Wrap Heroes. So some of you may have received that in your goodie box that we mailed when you registered for this conference. And we do have several available if you would like a copy, but it is really catchy. They have a music video to go along with it, but it is written and illustrated by their students there. I mentioned these two books, Smoking Stinks, No Thanks, But I'd Love to Dance. And then the Organ Wise Guys long curriculum comes with 3 different storybooks and activities along with that. And I mentioned, I put a picture in here for your own book because I would love for you guys to write your own stories. We've provided some comic book templates if you're not necessarily looking to write an entire storybook, which I think would be really cool. But if maybe you'd just be interested in creating your own comic, we've put a couple of these templates in your packet that we've mailed out, but these are also available to download on our website. If you go to the page where we talk about the conference, you can download these. But these are, Stephanie and I pulled these from a website called Canva, Canva.com. And Canva has a lot of great templates where you could just go in and, like I said, write your own story or even write your own comic strips. These will be great to share with younger students. Be great to share if in part of your school newspaper. You can also create your own like word searches or Mad Libs and that type of thing too. So there's lots of opportunities for you guys to take action, and I would love to see you do that. Our statewide meetings every month too, when we get together, we share more pictures and really talk about the things that all of our chapters are doing. So you've heard me mention chapters several times. If you are one, then you know what it is. But if you are not currently a Project Prevent chapter, that just means that you have organized a group of at least 5 students, and you have decided to start taking some action and doing some activities, whether that's at your school, it may be a church youth group, an after school program. We have some chapters that are in boys and girls clubs. So it doesn't matter where. And you can just simply register your chapter on the Project Prevent website. And then we'll start sending you lots of great information and connecting you to our statewide meetings and all of the activities like Ready, Set, Record and things like that that we do. So that moves us into the second part of today's segment, which is chapters. And we're talking about reaching your potential. So we have a wonderful interview that I want to share with you that we've already recorded with one of my great friends, Ms. Joyce Rayner. And we really just talked to her about what it means for students to be involved in a chapter or in a group that is working towards something positive like tobacco prevention and that type of thing. So let me get that pulled up for you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I want to welcome our next guest, Miss Joyce Rayner, the Executive Director of the Center for Healing Hearts and Spirits that is located here in Little Rock, but provides awesome services to people all over the state of Arkansas. There's so many different things that the center is able to do and services they're able to provide. But one thing that is near and dear to your heart, Joyce, is preventing young people from using alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So we've worked together for a long time. We've worked on a lot of different projects together, and I know that this is a passion for you. So tell everyone why you got started in this kind of work in the first place.
I would love to. As you know, our center has been in existence now for about 20 years. And what really drove me to the center was I came in contact with prevention, I'll say crisis up close and personal from my brother, my oldest brother, and my oldest son. My oldest brother, I'll say this, he loved his bottles, and he was very heavy smoker. So at the age I'll say after a long use of alcohol and tobacco, at the age of 57, we learned that he was sick. And one of the things that we learned that, of course, he had a stroke. He had some paralysis, and then it ultimately it led to a tracheotomy, the hole in the throat, because he could not breathe, and they had to in turn put the tracheotomy in it. And then ultimately he contracted lung cancer, and it was devastating to all of us. But also my oldest son, he learned about tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs, unfortunately, on the streets from friends. That is not where you learn about those ills and those harmful effects. So he got involved in that area, and then he got involved with some, I'll say, unsavory characters, and ultimately the streets, the alcohol, the drugs, the marijuana ended up taking his life. So I say to everyone, if I knew then what I knew now, I could do more than say, don't use drugs, don't smoke. But in fact, these are the reasons why you shouldn't. And that's why prevention is so important. It was important that I could tell my brother or my son about the harmful effects, the ingredients that's in tobacco. And that's why it's important today that we can tell our young people about Juuls and all those other tobacco products and alcohol products, the fact there are 42 milligrams of nicotine, how addictive nicotine is. And those are the things that why prevention is so important. Better to prevent than have to turn around and clean up.
Yes, absolutely. And I've known your stories. I've heard you tell these same stories, and they're so close to home, I think, for so many of us. And if you think about, your brother at 57, that's the age of many of the students that we work with. That's their grandparents, and how many kids have to grow up without a grandparent, and then at a as a young adult even lose their parents from something so awful. And I just love that you're so passionate about this. It makes all the difference. So in this segment, we're talking about students reaching their potential through working together as a group, whether that's part of a Project Prevent chapter or a RAD coalition, Rise Above Alcohol and Drugs, or any other group that is trying to create change in a positive way. So why do you think it's important for groups of young people to work together when they're trying to accomplish something? Like, for example, passing a city ordinance in their hometown to make their local park tobacco free, or to educate people at an event like a fall festival about the harmful effects of smoking and the benefits of quitting. So why do you think it's important for them to work together as a team?
Well, a team mean numbers, and there's strength in numbers. Numbers can bring about different ideas, even common ideas, and it results in action. This is why I'm such a proponent of chapters, Project Prevent, and also another name for chapters are coalitions. There are all kinds of names, but they are a group of people who come together for common ideas. I've been working in this field for over 20 years, and people say to me, Ms. Randy, you do this because they pay you. Well, I laugh about that, of course, but also you do it, you try to scare us. But when lawmakers and thought leaders and people in position and power hear it from our young people, our youth, our chapters, and our coalition, they believe it. They know that they're obviously have either heard about it or experienced it, or they have someone in their family. So it's really important doing rallies and community and school events, even on the steps of the state capitol,
Yes.
that these young people come together and make their voices heard. Strength in numbers always.
Definitely, absolutely. So our motto at Project Prevent, because I know you're a fan of the youth-led,
Yes.
fact-fed movement. It's our goal to provide all of the facts and resources for young people that they need to be able to prevent their friends from using things like alcohol, tobacco products, other drugs. So explain to everyone why it's so important for the messaging to actually come from them, the students, rather than coming from adults like me and you.
I love your motto. I repeat it all the time. Youth led, facts fed. Because youth are, most of the time people say youth are our future. Well, actually, youth, you are our present. Therefore, you can start to fight healthy outcomes right today. Not saying when I get out of school, I'm gonna do this. You get to do it right now. And when you add the tools of facts, because you got to back up what you say, or otherwise people don't believe you. So when you add facts to that, then you're armed to fight big tobacco, the drug and the alcohol companies. They have also they'll give you a reason to say no, and educate their peers on why they should do peer to peer, and educate them on refusal skills. So we need our youth. They need to lead the way. They need to be fed with the information. Youth led, facts fed. I love it.
Yes, thank you. We do too, and it is so important. Of course, there are physicians, there are prevention specialists that can provide all these facts, but it really makes a difference when it comes from the students, when it comes from you young people out there. Okay, so Joyce, tell us about some of the biggest success stories that you've seen from groups of young people working together in prevention.
Well, between you and I, we work with so many, and not only right here in Pulaski County, but around the state. And they are doing some awesome things, from videos to from YouTube to live Facebook. There are so many things, but we have some events that we work real close and personal with, like our Red Ribbon Rally. In the past, there have been 1,200 strong out there at the River Market. And what I love about it, it goes back to your youth-led, facts-fed. The youth are there. They're leading the way. They have prevention messages. They have the banners that they compete and actually win prizes with. So they're not only holding the banners, but they're marching, they're dancing. There are so many prevention. It's just a unison all about the drugs and the prevention of the drugs, which is a beautiful sight to see. 1,200 strong. I mean, from all over. And I love it every year when we can work with that. Another area is our annual ATOD Day, or they call it Kick Butts Day. Another example of our youth leading the way, the march to the Capitol. And not only just marching to the Capitol, they got their prevention signs. They take their message to the legislators. It's not like you come to us, they take it to the mountain, and I love that. And then another area that I am so happy about is we do a annual back to school block party. You're talking 500 to 600 people. Most of them are youth that are coming out there with prevention messages. And they're not just only coming to get the school supplies, prevention materials, they're actually passing them out, interacting with the adults, because it's nothing like a youth that says, Mom, Dad, friend, you need to quit smoking or vaping, and this is the reason why. You need to quit using the alcohol, or don't let the alcohol come in our home, because this is the reason why, and not just saying no. So they get an opportunity doing those events, and there are so many different conferences that we do every year in combination and collaboration with our partners like yourself.
Yes. Well, I have loved all the projects that we've worked on together, and that Red Ribbon Rally I will miss so much this year at the River Market. We're actually we are talking to the MC as well. Miss Janine Latrice Perez is doing another segment with us, so we do have a lot of fun at those events. But like you said, the biggest part of that is that it's uplifting and motivating for all the young people to see each other. There's such a positive influence on each other, which kind of leads me into my next question. I love your slogan, I can be rad all by myself. So that's the Rise Above Alcohol and Drugs Coalition, and you work with several of them. But several of our Project Prevent chapters and our RAD coalitions, a lot of times there are small groups of students. There may only be 5 or 10 students, in that group, and they may feel sometimes like they're doing this kind of work by themselves, all by themselves. What advice would you give to students who are making the choice every day to rise above alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, even when it may seem like it's the hard thing to do?
Well, RAD, of course, as you say, Rise Above Alcohol and Other Drugs is a project of our Partnership for Success program, which, simply saying it's incumbent on each of us to do our own individual thing, okay? It's hard for me to convince others to do something that I don't want to do myself. And I think that's the same way with our youth. And RAD is educating coalitions all over the state. Of course, we have SNAP, and we got Eco Kids, and we have the team over there at Lisa Academy and East. I mean, the list just go on and on. I love it because they are small groups, but they are working together once again for the common goal. For those who say I don't have a voice, yes, you have a voice. We remind them, first of all, there are others out there like you, but you can also be rad all by yourself. People our age, we just say, I can be bad all by myself. Well, guess what? When you're out here doing prevention work, especially when you're youth, you can be rad all by yourself. They are saying, I say no because I have reason to say yes. Good grades and graduation, college, great job, clean air, long life. The list just go on. And remember, one person can make a difference. 5 people can make a lot of changes. And the entire state, oh my God, we can reverse all these ills.
Whew, excellent. Very, very well put. Well, is there anything else you want to share with all of the students that are listening today? Is there anything you'd like them to know about being involved with Project Prevent or RAD or any other prevention efforts in their community? Anything you'd like to add?
Well, yes. Students, I want to say this to you. I know for some of you all say, I have nothing to do. No one ever listens to me. everyone else is doing it, I'm bored. Well, we encourage you to reach up, reach out. Project to Project Prevent chapters and RAD coalitions are waiting on you. We need your voice, we need your energy, and we need your leadership.
Wonderful. Whew, I could not have said it better. Okay, Joyce, I cannot thank you enough. I love working with you. Before we go, tell us how we can find out more about the Center for Healing Hearts and Spirits, what's your website and your social handles, all that good stuff.
Please log on www.hhscenter.org. You can also go to our Facebook, which is we want you to do to the WCAA RAD program. Go there and you will see a lot of the activities that we've been talking about, a lot of our collaboration. And you could also go there and say, I want to be a part of the coalition, or tell me how to connect to Project Prevent. If you don't know how to connect to Project Prevent, you forget, put in RAD, pull up the center, and I can even get you back over to Project Prevent. So
right.
Please join us.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Joyce. I appreciate you so much, and I'm so glad that you're able to be a part of this today, and I look forward to the next big thing that we work on.
Always. Thank you, Laura.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, great. Well, that wraps up part 3. If you are following along again on your REACH guidebook, if you don't have one, there's a digital copy available on the website, projectpreventar.org. But we have made it almost all the way through our REACH theme. Today we covered action steps and chapters. And the next thing that we will cover will be the last segment on help and how you can help others reach their goal. And we'll really be focusing on how you can learn to help people quit if they've already started a nicotine addiction. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time.